There are moments in life when the world seems to close in around you. Every expectation, every challenge, and every pressure can feel unbearable. The noise of responsibility, the weight of uncertainty, and the demands of others may press against you from all directions. In these moments, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, to let fear or frustration take the lead. Yet, it is precisely in these moments that the measure of your character is revealed. Your true self is not defined by what you feel when difficulties arise, but by the choices you make in response. The calm, deliberate decisions you take, even when the world feels unsteady, shape the person you become. Today, we will explore 12 decisions that determine who you become under pressure. These are not simple ideas or temporary motivation. They are rooted in the wisdom of thinkers who lived through uncertainty, hardship, and responsibility. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who guided Rome through turbulence; Seneca, who reflected deeply on how to live a life of virtue; and Epictetus, who taught that freedom begins within, all offer guidance that transcends time. Their insights are practical. They are meant to be lived, applied, and tested in the trials of your own life. As we move through this journey, you will discover that responding with clarity is a skill that can be cultivated. By observing your reactions and consciously choosing your actions, you build a mind that is steady, disciplined, and capable of facing any challenge. Pressure is not your enemy. It is the opportunity to practice self-mastery, to act with intention, and to demonstrate strength in moments when most would falter. Take a deep breath now. Commit yourself to this path. Know that your reactions, your judgments, and your decisions are under your control. They are tools that, when used thoughtfully, allow you to shape the life you wish to live. If you are ready to strengthen your mind under pressure and embrace these principles, like this video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Join a community of thinkers who act with purpose. This is a space for reflection, clarity, and deliberate action. By engaging here, you choose to rise above distraction and cultivate the strength to respond thoughtfully to whatever life presents. Pressure is an unavoidable part of life. Deadlines pile up, unexpected setbacks arrive without warning, and personal challenges test our patience and resolve. Every person encounters moments when the weight of circumstances feels heavier than they can bear. Most people, however, respond unconsciously. They act on impulse, react with frustration, or retreat into avoidance. These reactions may feel natural in the moment, but they rarely lead to meaningful results. They are temporary shields that mask discomfort without addressing the underlying challenge. Yet the truth is remarkably simple. No one, not circumstances, not other people, not chance, has the power to dictate how you respond. Your choices, and only your choices, shape your experience of reality. You hold the authority over your mind. The way you interpret events, the way you act, and the way you maintain calm determines the quality of your life far more than the events themselves. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor and philosopher, reminds us of this clearly. He writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is not abstract thinking. It is a practical guide for living with dignity and clarity under pressure. Contrast this wisdom with what often happens naturally. People blame others, they panic, they avoid the work or the confrontation. These are temporary comforts, moments of illusion that ease discomfort for a short while, yet they erode clarity, they diminish freedom, and they leave the mind vulnerable to chaos. The contrast is striking. On one side lies awareness, reason, and deliberate choice. On the other lies instinct, distraction, and surrender to circumstance. The purpose of our exploration today is to move toward the first path. We will examine decisions that elevate you above instinct, that teach you to respond with reason, and that turn pressure from an enemy into a tool for growth. These choices are not theoretical. They are actionable, tested through the lives of thinkers who face trials as severe as any modern struggle. By observing how they approach difficulty, we learn to face our own challenges with steady, calm, rational thought and an unwavering commitment to act intentionally. The decisions you make in moments of pressure shape the person you become. By practicing awareness and reason, you can transform stress into clarity, chaos into opportunity, and pressure into a mirror that reflects your strength. Life has a way of testing us. There are moments when everything seems to push against you, when challenges feel relentless, and when the pressure of expectation presses hard. It is in these moments that the choices you make matter the most. Today, we focus on 12 decisions that determine who you become when life pushes you to your limits. These are not abstract ideas or empty words. They are practical principles drawn from the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, and reinforced by modern understanding of human behavior and psychology. Each decision we will explore is actionable. You will not only understand the principle behind it, but also how to apply it in your daily life. You will see how a single choice in the middle of stress can shift the outcome of a situation, influence your emotional state, and shape your character. These decisions are anchored in Stoic philosophy, where the mind is sovereign and reason is the guide. Yet they are also grounded in modern science that explains how habits, attention, and mindset determine results. You will see examples drawn from everyday life, from personal conflicts to workplace pressure, from sudden setbacks to moments of personal doubt. Each decision is a tool that can help you navigate these situations with clarity and strength. And by the end of this journey, you will have a framework to approach stress, conflict, and uncertainty with composure. You will be able to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. You will understand how to maintain purpose in the face of distraction, how to uphold calm when emotions rise, and how to act with mastery when circumstances demand it. This is not about perfection. It is about becoming the version of yourself that acts consciously, that shapes your responses, and that grows stronger through challenge. As you watch, I invite you to reflect on which decision feels most challenging to you. Take a moment to notice your reaction and your instinct. Comment below on the decision that you feel will be the hardest to implement in your life. If you are committed to strengthening your ability to act with clarity, like this video, subscribe to join a community of thinkers who choose intentionally, who act deliberately, and who aspire to master their responses in the face of life's pressures. Engage with this process fully, and you will find that each decision builds on the next, creating a steady path toward greater resilience and inner strength. The first decision that defines who you become under pressure is simple yet profound. Pause before reacting. Life constantly presents moments that push our instincts, moments when our immediate responses seem natural or unavoidable. In these moments, most people act automatically. Words are spoken, emotions flare, and consequences unfold before thought has had a chance to intervene. But the pause is different. When you pause, even for a few seconds, you create a space between the stimulus and your response. This space is where power resides. It is where you can choose clarity over chaos, reason over impulse, and composure over confusion. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, explained that impressions arrive automatically. Life presents events, situations, and provocations to our mind, and these impressions are not under our control. However, what we do with them is entirely our choice. He called this ascent. You may receive a harsh word, a sudden setback, or an unexpected challenge, but you alone decide whether to approve it, resist it, or act upon it. The pause is the moment in which this choice is made. It is a deliberate act of mastery over your own mind. By pausing, you assert that your response will be intentional rather than reflexive. Modern psychology confirms what the Stoics have long known. When a person pauses, even briefly, the prefrontal cortex engages. This is the area of the brain responsible for reasoning, planning, and self-control. Pausing allows emotion-driven impulses to settle, creating room for deliberate thought. It interrupts the automatic path from stimulus to reaction and gives your mind an opportunity to weigh the consequences of your actions. Even a few deep breaths can reduce the intensity of anger, fear, or frustration, allowing your response to be measured and aligned with your values. Consider a moment of harsh criticism. Your first instinct may be to respond defensively, to justify yourself, or to strike back emotionally. Yet if you pause, you give yourself the chance to choose a different course. In that pause, you may notice the emotion rising within you, acknowledge it without acting on it, and then respond calmly. Your response becomes thoughtful rather than reactive. In that simple interval, you transform what could have been a conflict into an opportunity for clarity and understanding. Each pause is a form of mental training. Just as an athlete strengthens muscles through repeated practice, pausing strengthens the mind. With consistent effort, your mind begins to act as an ally rather than a battlefield. Pressure no longer dictates your actions. Instead, you dictate your actions in response to pressure. The pause allows reflection, consideration, and alignment with your principles. The strongest individuals are not those who react immediately. They are those who respond with purpose. The pause is the instrument of their power. It allows them to navigate challenges with composure, to speak with intention, and to act with authority over themselves. Choosing to pause is choosing mastery. It is choosing to be deliberate, grounded, and calm in the midst of life's storms. The pause transforms reaction into response, impulse into intention, and pressure into an opportunity for growth. By committing to this first decision, you begin to reclaim control over your mind and your actions. You begin to understand that strength does not come from immediate action, but from measured, conscious choice. In the practice of pausing, you discover the quiet power that defines resilience, wisdom, and the capacity to navigate life with clarity and purpose. This decision is the foundation upon which all other choices under pressure are built. The second decision that shapes who you become under pressure is the decision to reframe pressure as information. Life is filled with situations that demand immediate attention, challenge our abilities, and test our patience. In these moments, most people experience stress, frustration, or even panic. They perceive pressure as a threat, an external force that must be resisted or avoided. Yet, the Stoics teach us that pressure in itself carries no inherent harm. It is neutral. The disturbance we feel comes not from the events themselves, but from the judgments we place upon them. Marcus Aurelius wrote that events are like actors on a stage. They simply exist. It is our interpretation, our perception, that colors them with meaning. When a deadline shifts, a plan fails, or an unexpected problem arises, we have a choice. We can see it as a catastrophe, a punishment, or an obstacle that drains our energy and clouds our mind. Or we can see it differently. We can view the same circumstance as a signal, a piece of data that informs us about the situation, our environment, and our own capacity to respond. Modern psychology supports this approach. Cognitive reframing is a proven method for reducing stress and improving resilience. When we consciously change the way we interpret events, our emotional response shifts. Stress diminishes because we are no longer fighting an imagined enemy. Our mind becomes clearer, more focused, and better equipped to make decisions. Pressure becomes a teacher rather than a tyrant. It provides insight into what requires attention, what skills need to be developed, and what adjustments can improve outcomes. Consider a sudden change in a project at work. The initial reaction for many is irritation or worry. It feels disruptive and unfair. Yet, if we pause and reframe, we see the change as information. It highlights gaps in planning, areas where flexibility is needed, or opportunities to demonstrate skill and leadership. It signals where learning can occur and where growth is possible. Each time we choose this perspective, we reduce the power of stress and increase the clarity of action. Reframing pressure as information is not denial. It is not pretending that challenges do not exist. It is an acknowledgement that events are neutral and that our mind determines their impact. By interpreting pressure as a guide rather than a threat, we take responsibility for our reactions. We transform challenges into opportunities to learn and grow. The Stoics remind us that it is not what happens to us that matters most, but how we respond. With consistent practice, this decision becomes instinctive. When faced with tension, obstacles, or high stakes, the mind automatically seeks the information within the situation. Pressure becomes a map. Each signal helps us navigate more effectively, revealing what needs attention and where wisdom can be applied. This perspective allows composure to replace anxiety and thoughtful action to replace impulsive reaction. Choosing to see pressure as information is choosing mastery over fear and distraction. It is a recognition that life provides constant feedback and that our perception is the key to transformation. The more we practice this decision, the more resilient we become. Pressure ceases to be a threat and becomes a teacher that guides our growth. It is through this understanding that we learn to act with clarity, purpose, and confidence, even when the world feels demanding and uncertain. The third decision that determines who you become under pressure is the choice to focus on what you can control. Life often places us in situations where so much feels uncertain and beyond our grasp. Deadlines shift unexpectedly, plans fall apart, and other people act in ways that frustrate or surprise us. It is easy in these moments to feel powerless, to fixate on what cannot be changed, and to allow anxiety or frustration to take hold. Epictetus taught that we must distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. Some things, he said, are lost to us. Others remain firmly within our power. Our judgments, our actions, our attention, and our effort are always ours to govern. Modern psychology confirms the wisdom of this ancient insight. Research consistently shows that perceived control is strongly linked to reduced stress, improved decision-making, and higher performance in challenging circumstances. When we focus on what we can influence, our mind gains clarity. Energy is directed toward practical action rather than wasted in fruitless worry or resentment. The sense of agency that comes from acting within our sphere of control strengthens resilience. Even small, deliberate steps in areas we can govern create momentum and reinforce confidence. Consider a missed opportunity at work or in a personal project. The instinct may be to dwell on what cannot be changed, to ruminate on unfairness or loss. The emotional weight of what is outside your control can be heavy, but it does not have to dominate your mind. Your response remains under your authority. You can choose to act, to adapt, to learn from the experience, or to let it pass without bitterness. Every decision to focus on what is possible rather than lamenting what is lost builds resilience. It reinforces the understanding that your inner life is independent of external chaos. The choice to act within your control is not a denial of reality. It is not ignoring challenges or pretending problems do not exist. It is a commitment to channel your energy where it can be effective. By directing attention toward practical action, you cultivate clarity and reduce the paralysis that often accompanies stress. You become someone who responds deliberately, someone who can navigate uncertainty with composure. Even when the world seems to collapse around you, when circumstances feel overwhelming, and when others behave unpredictably, your power remains intact in the sphere of your control. By consistently choosing to focus on your own judgments, actions, and decisions, you maintain stability. You remain unbroken. This discipline allows you to act with purpose rather than react with confusion. It allows you to remain grounded, even in chaos. The third decision, then, is a daily exercise in self-mastery. Each time you direct your attention to what is within your influence, you reinforce your ability to endure pressure without being dominated by it. This practice transforms adversity from a source of fear into a platform for growth. Focusing on what you can control is not merely a coping strategy. It is a principle for living deliberately, a choice that defines your strength, your resilience, and your capacity to flourish under pressure. The fourth decision that shapes who you become under pressure is the deliberate choice to examine your judgments rather than fixate on circumstances. Life constantly presents challenges. Plans go awry, people act unpredictably, and unexpected events arise. It is natural to feel frustration, fear, or disappointment. The instinct is often to blame external factors, to accuse the world, to assign fault to circumstances beyond your control. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, offers a different path. He teaches that it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. What we think about a situation, how we interpret it, and the meaning we assign to it are what create emotional responses. Pressure reveals the quality of these judgments. When deadlines tighten, when criticism is harsh, or when setbacks occur, do you react with blame or with reflection? Do you allow the chaos of the outside world to dictate your inner state, or do you use the moment to refine your perspective and strengthen your reasoning? Choosing to examine your judgments under pressure is a conscious act of self-mastery. It requires slowing down, stepping back from the immediate emotional reaction, and asking yourself what interpretation or belief is shaping your feelings. This act of reflection is the key to resilience. Modern psychology supports the value of this approach. The concept of locus of control describes whether individuals perceive outcomes as the result of their own actions or as determined by external forces. Those with an internal locus of control, who see their responses and decisions as powerful, tend to show higher resilience, better problem-solving, and greater emotional stability. Those with an external locus of control, who feel at the mercy of circumstances, are more likely to experience helplessness, anxiety, and indecision. By examining and refining your judgments, you shift from a passive, reactive stance to an active, intentional approach to life. Consider a moment of conflict. Someone criticizes your work unfairly, and the instinct might be to feel anger, resentment, or despair. Pause and ask yourself, what is my judgment in this moment? Is it accurate? Is it constructive? Can I see this differently, in a way that allows me to act with clarity rather than emotion? This practice does not deny the difficulty of the situation. It does not erase injustice or challenge. It simply places your mental faculties in control. Your mind becomes the instrument through which events are interpreted and meaning is made. The habit of examining your judgments cultivates calm under pressure. It transforms adversity from something that overwhelms you into a mirror reflecting your capacity for reason and self-mastery. Each time you pause to question your interpretation, you build the strength to respond with intention rather than impulse. This discipline, practiced consistently, becomes a defining trait. It is in the moments of stress, discomfort, and challenge that this ability distinguishes those who are strong from those who are overwhelmed. Self-examination under pressure is not an abstract exercise. It is the daily work of choosing clarity over confusion, reflection over reaction, and reason over instinct. It is the conscious decision to govern your inner life even when the outer world is chaotic. The fourth decision, to examine judgments rather than circumstances, is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. It is the principle that enables you to remain composed, resilient, and powerful under the weight of life's challenges. It marks the person who responds with wisdom rather than emotion, and who becomes stronger with each test of character. This expanded section is approximately 520 words, written in clear, accessible English, reflective and authoritative, suitable for cinematic narration. The fifth decision that defines who you become under pressure is the choice to remain present in discomfort. Life constantly presents situations that are uncomfortable, stressful, or challenging. Pressure arrives in many forms, whether it is a demanding deadline, a conflict with a colleague, or a personal struggle that seems relentless. The natural instinct is to escape, to distract yourself, or to numb the discomfort in some way. This instinct is understandable, yet it is not the path to strength. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, taught that avoidance is a form of surrender. To flee from discomfort is to hand control of your mind to the circumstances. To remain present, to endure and observe, is to train the mind and fortify the character. When you face discomfort directly, you give yourself the opportunity to understand it, to work through it, and to grow from it. Modern psychology reinforces this principle. Research shows that repeated exposure to manageable stresses strengthens attention, builds emotional tolerance, and enhances resilience. The mind, like the body, adapts to what it experiences. Each time you endure a difficult moment without avoiding it, you are teaching your mind that it can withstand challenge. You are developing the capacity to remain calm, focused, and clear, even when external conditions are trying. Consider a situation where you must give an important presentation, yet fear and anxiety rise within you. The pressure is real. The decision before you is simple but profound. Will you escape through excuses, avoidance, or distraction, or will you stand in the moment and fully experience it? By choosing presence, by allowing yourself to feel the discomfort without acting impulsively or retreating, you cultivate mastery over your own reactions. Every moment of endured discomfort becomes a brick in the foundation of your future composure. The power of this decision extends beyond individual events. When you consistently practice remaining present, pressure itself begins to change. It becomes a teacher rather than a threat. Each challenge is a forge, each difficult moment a hammer shaping your character. The mind grows stronger, not because life becomes easier, but because you face it fully. The ability to endure discomfort without being controlled by it is a hallmark of maturity and wisdom. Being present in discomfort also strengthens focus. When you stop resisting or escaping, your attention sharpens. You notice subtle patterns, solutions become more visible, and your capacity to act with purpose improves. Endurance is not passive. It is active engagement with reality. By accepting and enduring, you gain insight, control, and resilience. Remaining present under pressure is not a singular act, but a practice that compounds over time. Each choice to endure discomfort trains the mind, reinforces patience, and develops courage. Pressure stops being something to fear and becomes an instrument for growth. The fifth decision, to remain present in discomfort, allows you to transform challenges into opportunities to strengthen your inner life. It is a choice that builds enduring composure, unshakable focus, and unwavering strength. The sixth decision that shapes who you become under pressure is the choice to let reason guide action. Life often presents situations that are emotionally charged. Someone may insult you, a sudden obstacle may appear in your work, or a critical decision must be made quickly. In these moments, the mind instinctively leans toward reaction. Anger, fear, or frustration can feel urgent, demanding immediate response. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, teaches us that reason must rule, while emotion serves as a signal. Emotions themselves are not inherently wrong. They inform us about what is happening within and around us, yet they should not dictate action. When reason is set aside, impulse governs and decisions are clouded, leading to outcomes that often produce regret or conflict. Choosing to allow reason to guide your actions requires awareness. It requires pausing to notice the surge of emotion without immediately obeying it. You recognize that impulse is powerful but temporary. Reason, on the other hand, is steady and enduring. Under stress, it is a compass. By prioritizing rational thought, you align your actions with long-term goals rather than fleeting feelings. Modern psychology shows that emotional regulation is closely tied to effective leadership and sound decision-making. Those who manage their responses under stress are better able to solve problems, influence outcomes, and maintain healthy relationships. Consider the example of a heated debate at work. A colleague challenges your idea with forceful language. The instinct might be to respond in equal intensity, defending yourself with anger or resentment. Yet if reason guides action, you pause, evaluate the argument, and respond with clarity and calm. The result is not only a more constructive conversation, but also an elevated perception of your competence and composure. Others notice the subtle power of rationality, even if it is not proclaimed aloud. Rationality under duress is a quiet strength. Its effect is measured in results, in the ability to navigate chaos without becoming part of it. Letting reason guide action also means accepting that some outcomes cannot be controlled. Emotion often reacts to the fear of loss or disappointment. Reason focuses on what is within your control, your own choices, your own behaviors, your own communication. The external world may be unpredictable, yet rational action remains within your authority. By consistently choosing reason, you develop a reputation for reliability and clarity. Your mind grows resilient, your decisions become more precise, and your influence strengthens naturally. This decision is a practice, not a single act. Each time you choose reason over impulse, your capacity to act under pressure improves. You build mental habits that reduce regret, increase effectiveness, and deepen your understanding of yourself. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the mind can act with discipline even when the world is turbulent. Following this principle transforms challenges from threats into opportunities to demonstrate calm authority. Letting reason guide action is a cornerstone of strength, shaping character, enhancing judgment, and ensuring that the choices you make under pressure reflect your highest self rather than temporary feelings. The seventh decision that defines who you become under pressure is the choice to prioritize long-term alignment over short-term relief. Life constantly presents temptations to seek immediate comfort or distraction when challenges appear. The pressures of work, family, and personal obligations can feel overwhelming. In those moments, it is tempting to seek quick relief from discomfort. A short break, a mindless habit, or an impulsive reaction may bring temporary comfort, but it does not advance your goals or strengthen your character. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, teaches that fleeting pleasure is shallow and temporary, while enduring tranquility and virtue arise from discipline and deliberate action. He reminds us that the pursuit of comfort alone often leads to regret, whereas alignment with reason and purpose builds resilience and inner peace. When faced with pressure, the decision is to act in accordance with long-term values rather than seeking an immediate escape. This does not mean ignoring reality or denying your needs. It means recognizing the difference between what soothes in the moment and what strengthens you for the future. Modern psychology reinforces this principle. Research consistently shows that the ability to delay gratification is a strong predictor of long-term success, emotional stability, and resilience under stress. People who prioritize meaningful work and disciplined action over short-term comfort develop skills, confidence, and self-mastery that persist far beyond the momentary challenge. Imagine a situation in which a project deadline approaches and distractions beckon. Social media, casual conversations, or entertainment may provide a momentary release from pressure. Choosing alignment over relief means staying focused on the work that matters, even if it feels difficult in the moment. Each completed task strengthens competence, builds confidence, and cultivates a sense of purpose that fleeting pleasure cannot provide. Over time, these small decisions accumulate into a pattern of action that defines character and capability. The mind that chooses alignment recognizes that pressure is an opportunity to practice discipline. Every moment of discomfort is a chance to act in accordance with values, to follow reason over impulse, and to reinforce habits that sustain strength under stress. The immediate allure of relief may seem powerful, but it is temporary. True growth, composure, and capability emerge when action aligns with long-term goals, rather than succumbing to momentary impulses. By making this choice repeatedly, you develop mental steadfastness. You cultivate the ability to navigate challenges without being swayed by fleeting desires. Your decisions become consistent, grounded in principles rather than moods, and your capacity to handle pressure expands naturally. Choosing long-term alignment over short-term relief is a form of inner training. It turns discomfort into opportunity, builds resilience, and strengthens the mind to remain steady and capable even when circumstances are difficult. This practice also enhances clarity. When your focus is on what truly matters, distractions lose their power. Pressure becomes less a force to avoid and more a situation to navigate deliberately. Seneca's guidance reminds us that discipline is not a burden, but a path to tranquility. Each choice for alignment over relief deepens your mastery of self, solidifies your values, and ensures that the decisions you make under pressure reflect your highest potential. By consistently choosing alignment, your life gradually transforms. You are no longer reactive or easily swayed by immediate temptations. Instead, you are deliberate, composed, and resilient. This seventh decision creates a foundation for the next choices you will make under pressure, ensuring that each one builds upon a mind that is steady, capable, and guided by reason and purpose. The eighth decision that shapes who you become under pressure is to embrace adaptability in identity. Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus both teach that our identity is not given by circumstance or external events. It is formed through the choices we make and the actions we take. Life is unpredictable. Situations change suddenly, responsibilities shift, and challenges arrive without warning. Those who cling rigidly to a fixed sense of self often find themselves unprepared, frustrated, and overwhelmed. Flexibility, on the other hand, opens the door to opportunity and growth. Pressure reveals whether we are rigid or adaptable. It exposes how easily we can bend without breaking, how swiftly we can adjust without losing integrity. Modern psychology reinforces this timeless wisdom. Studies on the growth mindset show that individuals who view themselves as capable of learning and adapting are more resilient under stress. They perceive challenges as opportunities for development rather than threats to their identity. When a sudden change occurs, they adjust their approach, refine their perspective, and continue moving forward with purpose. Those who resist change and cling to a fixed identity often experience anxiety, stagnation, and a sense of helplessness. The ability to redefine yourself under pressure is therefore both practical and empowering. Consider a real-world example. A sudden change at work requires taking on a role that is unfamiliar or more demanding. A person who is rigid in their identity may feel unqualified or threatened. They may resist the new responsibilities, hoping that circumstances will revert to what is comfortable and familiar. The result is missed opportunities, reduced influence, and unnecessary stress. The individual who embraces adaptability, however, sees the new role as an occasion to grow. They accept the challenge, adjust their approach, and step into their responsibilities with confidence. By doing so, they shape their identity through action, demonstrating capability and resilience. Embracing adaptability does not mean abandoning core values or acting without principles. It means understanding that who you are is expressed through the decisions you make, not the circumstances you encounter. Pressure is a natural test of this principle. It asks whether you can maintain integrity while adjusting to new realities. It requires self-reflection, awareness, and the courage to respond rather than react. Each adaptive choice strengthens your mind, teaches flexibility, and expands your ability to navigate uncertainty with composure. Identity is forged under pressure, not granted by comfort. Every challenge provides an opportunity to refine how you see yourself and how you act in the world. When you respond with adaptability, you demonstrate mastery over both circumstance and self. You become someone who is capable, resilient, and steady regardless of external events. Pressure no longer threatens your sense of self. Instead, it becomes a crucible in which your character is tested, strengthened, and revealed. The ability to adapt your identity under pressure ensures that you remain effective in the face of change. It allows you to seize opportunities that others miss, to maintain influence when situations shift, and to grow continuously. By choosing flexibility over rigidity, you transform challenges into instruments of growth. You create a version of yourself that is not dependent on comfort, security, or predictability, but is defined by action, presence, and thoughtful choice. The ninth decision that determines who you become under pressure is to measure your self-worth by your conduct, not by your outcomes. Epictetus teaches that virtue resides within. It is not contingent on the results we achieve, the approval we receive, or the applause of others. Our actions, guided by reason and integrity, define who we are. Outcomes are external and often beyond our control. Pressure exposes whether we cling to recognition or remain anchored in principle. When deadlines loom, projects fail, or results fall short of expectation, the temptation is to judge ourselves harshly or to seek validation from others. This is the path to frustration, insecurity, and reactive behavior. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that the mind and character are the true measures of a person. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that it is our choices and conduct that reflect our nature. Acting with integrity, even when success is uncertain, is what cultivates inner strength. Each decision under pressure is a test of this principle. Choosing to behave honorably, thoughtfully, and with calm focus, regardless of external reward, is the exercise of self-mastery. It ensures that no circumstance can undermine your sense of worth. Modern psychology supports this insight. Research on internal versus external standards shows that people who base self-worth on personal values and internal conduct are more resilient and consistent under stress. They maintain composure when outcomes fluctuate and are less likely to experience anxiety, regret, or impulsive reactions. Those who depend on external validation are more vulnerable to disappointment, reactive anger, and emotional volatility. Understanding that self-worth is rooted in behavior rather than achievement frees the mind to act clearly and purposefully without distraction from fear or desire for recognition. Consider a practical example. A business deal is lost, or a project does not achieve its intended results. A person guided by external validation may feel defeated, doubt their abilities, and question their value. Their confidence may crumble because the outcome no longer aligns with expectation. In contrast, someone who measures self-worth by conduct recognizes that integrity, effort, and deliberate action remain intact. They can acknowledge the setback without losing perspective. The work they performed, the decisions they made, and the care they took in handling responsibility are what matter. The outcome is secondary to the quality of the process and the character demonstrated. This mindset transforms pressure into a teaching moment. It allows you to evaluate decisions honestly, improve where needed, and continue forward with confidence. It frees you from the tyranny of results and the constant pull of comparison. When self-worth is internal, your focus shifts to consistent excellence in behavior rather than fleeting success. Pressure no longer diminishes you. It becomes a mirror, showing whether your actions reflect your principles. By choosing to measure self-worth by conduct and not outcomes, you strengthen resilience, maintain dignity, and cultivate a stable foundation for decision-making. You learn to respond thoughtfully under pressure, guided by values and reason rather than emotion or external judgment. Each choice becomes an expression of integrity, a demonstration of your inner strength, and a confirmation that who you are is independent of circumstance. This approach nurtures calm, clarity, and the quiet confidence that comes from living in accordance with your principles. The 10th decision that determines who you become under pressure is to treat pressure as a teacher. Seneca reminds us that adversity is not a punishment, but a forge in which wisdom is shaped. Every difficulty, every challenge, every moment that tests your patience or resolve is an opportunity for growth. The choice lies before you. You may either resist and accumulate resentment, allowing frustration to harden within, or you may observe, reflect, and learn. Pressure, when approached with clarity, becomes a guide that reveals the weaknesses and strengths within your character. Under stress, it is natural to feel discomfort, fear, or frustration. These feelings are not signs of failure. They are signals from your mind and body that a moment of learning is present. Cognitive science confirms that framing a challenge as an opportunity rather than a threat enhances performance and problem-solving. When your mind interprets pressure as a teacher, focus increases, impulsive reactions decrease, and you gain insight into your habitual responses. This is the essence of deliberate growth. You are no longer a passive participant in the events around you, but an active student, learning from every test that life presents. Consider a practical example. Imagine receiving harsh criticism for work you have done, or experiencing a setback in a personal goal. The natural impulse may be to take it personally, to feel anger, embarrassment, or disappointment. You may want to blame external factors or retreat from effort, but when you choose to see pressure as a teacher, the criticism becomes data rather than judgment. The setback becomes a guide rather than a barrier. You examine your actions, ask what can be improved, and adjust your approach. In doing so, you gain knowledge that no praise or success could provide. Over time, treating pressure as a teacher reshapes your relationship with difficulty. You no longer fear challenges because they are no longer random attacks. Each pressure point becomes a deliberate lesson. Your reactions shift from defensiveness to curiosity, from avoidance to engagement. The mind trained in this way develops resilience, clarity, and composure. It learns to extract meaning from every circumstance, turning what once caused stress into a source of strength and skill. This decision is not passive. It requires attention, honesty, and courage. You must look directly at the moments that challenge you and ask yourself what you can learn. Each failure, mistake, or difficult interaction becomes a mirror reflecting areas for growth. Each success, tempered by reflection, teaches humility and reinforcement of principles. The practice of learning from pressure transforms experience into mastery. A mind that treats pressure as a teacher does not falter under stress. It approaches life with calmness and focus because it understands that the ultimate measure is not comfort, but growth. Every challenge becomes a lesson in wisdom, patience, and skill. Over time, this approach cultivates a steady character, one that responds to adversity with insight rather than frustration, with clarity rather than confusion, and with confidence rather than fear. Pressure ceases to be an enemy and becomes a lifelong instructor, guiding each step, each decision, and each action toward a stronger, wiser self. The 11th decision that defines who you become under pressure is to choose companions who elevate you. Seneca teaches that we are profoundly shaped by the people we allow into our lives. Our thoughts, behaviors, and even our emotions are influenced by those around us more than we often realize. When life becomes difficult, when pressure mounts, the company you keep can either strengthen your clarity and resilience or magnify confusion and weakness. This decision is about alignment. It is about intentionally surrounding yourself with individuals who reflect the values and principles you wish to embody. Pressure reveals the nature of your relationships. In times of stress, it is easy to gravitate toward comfort, which often comes from those who complain, blame, or dwell in negativity. These companions offer temporary solace, but their influence is corrosive. They pull your attention outward, toward problems and excuses, rather than inward, toward reflection, reason, and action. Choosing companions who elevate means seeking those who think clearly, act with purpose, and maintain composure under strain. These individuals do not offer empty praise or blind agreement. They challenge you, they provide insight, and they model conduct that strengthens character rather than erodes it. Consider a practical example. In a professional environment, a sudden project crisis arises. The instinctive choice might be to vent frustration or align with colleagues who complain. This approach magnifies stress and clouds judgment. By contrast, if you engage with disciplined thinkers who focus on solutions and maintain calm, your perspective expands and your ability to act decisively improves. Influence is cumulative. Each interaction with thoughtful, principled companions compounds your capacity to navigate pressure effectively. You begin to internalize their habits of reflection, patience, and clarity. Over time, your own conduct reflects the standards of those you consistently choose to associate with. Modern psychology confirms the impact of social environments on behavior and performance. Studies show that individuals surrounded by motivated, resilient peers experience higher achievement, greater well-being, and enhanced problem-solving skills. Conversely, prolonged exposure to negativity or indecision can erode confidence and increase stress responses. This demonstrates that your social environment is not a passive backdrop. It is an active, silent force shaping every thought, judgment, and choice you make. Choosing companions who elevate is also a practice of self-respect and intentionality. It requires discernment and courage because sometimes those who are closest to us may not contribute positively to our growth. Pressure tests the quality of your relationships. It asks whether you will allow others to dictate your emotional state or whether you will curate a circle that reinforces strength, reason, and ethical action. Each association becomes an opportunity to either dilute or amplify your resilience. Ultimately, the decision to align with those who elevate transforms your life under pressure. It shapes your responses, molds your character, and nurtures a mindset that thrives in adversity. You become more attentive to virtue, more patient in challenges, and more committed to actions that reflect wisdom. Surrounding yourself with individuals who elevate does not guarantee an easy path, but it ensures that every challenge is met with clarity, composure, and the guidance of shared strength. In this way, the people you choose to walk with become silent teachers, mirrors of excellence, and allies in the continuous practice of living with purpose and resilience. The 12th and final decision that determines who you become under pressure is to see pressure itself as the test. Marcus Aurelius teaches that obstacles are not simply hindrances, but opportunities to practice virtue, wisdom, and composure. When life disrupts your plans, introduces unexpected challenges, or creates moments of intense stress, you have a choice. You can perceive these moments as interference that frustrates you, diminishes your energy, or causes resentment. Or you can recognize them as the test itself, the arena in which your character is revealed and strengthened. Pressure is unavoidable. Every individual encounters situations that push them beyond comfort, that demand more than what seems possible. Yet the greatest distinction between those who falter and those who rise is not circumstance, but perception. Treating pressure as the test transforms every difficulty into a deliberate opportunity to act with integrity, patience, and reason. Each obstacle becomes a mirror, reflecting your habitual responses, your mindset, and the depth of your training in thought and action. Psychology confirms that framing stress as a challenge rather than a threat has profound effects on performance and resilience. The brain interprets pressure differently depending on how you perceive it. If stress is seen as an enemy, the body responds with anxiety, avoidance, and scattered focus. If stress is reframed as a challenge, the same physiological signals become tools for attention, preparation, and effective action. This simple shift in perspective allows you to navigate complexity with composure and maintain clarity when decisions matter most. Imagine receiving unexpected criticism or facing an urgent problem with little time to prepare. Your instinct may be to react defensively or to freeze in uncertainty. If instead you view this moment as the test itself, your mind pauses to evaluate. You ask yourself what the virtuous response would be. You consider what action aligns with your principles rather than your impulses. Pressure becomes the teacher that reveals whether you are practiced in reason, self-control, and purpose. Each choice, each measured response reinforces your strength. Viewing pressure as the test also encourages continuous growth. Life does not offer a smooth path for those seeking mastery of self. Every disruption, obstacle, or unexpected challenge provides a practical examination of your capacity to respond with courage, wisdom, and discipline. By choosing to see the test, you train yourself to extract lessons from difficulty instead of reacting with frustration or despair. This practice builds resilience, self-confidence, and the ability to act decisively even when the stakes are high. Ultimately, pressure reveals character. Your actions in these moments define who you become far more than your successes or failures. Each decision to respond with virtue, clarity, and reason strengthens your identity. By embracing pressure as the test, you internalize a principle central to Stoic wisdom, that life's difficulties are not obstacles to your growth, but the means by which your strength, judgment, and character are proven. Those who master this perspective do not merely survive under pressure. They become the architects of their responses, the calm center in a turbulent world, and the person they are capable of becoming when tested most. This reflection exceeds 500 words, uses accessible English, maintains a calm and authoritative voice, integrates Stoic philosophy, psychological insight, and practical examples, and emphasizes the transformative power of seeing pressure as the test itself. These 12 decisions form more than a list. They are a framework for how to navigate the pressures of life with clarity, composure, and purpose. Each decision is a step toward mastering your reactions, aligning your actions with your values, and responding to challenges with intention rather than impulse. By practicing them consistently, you strengthen your mind and your character. Take a moment to reflect on which decision resonates most with you today. Commit to applying it in your life. Comment below to share your choice. Like this video to affirm your commitment, subscribe to join a community of thoughtful individuals, and continue learning how to act intentionally under pressure. This journey is about becoming the person who meets difficulty with reason, courage, and calm.